My name's David, and I'm 72 years old. About 3 months back, I got that phone call. Stage 3 colon cancer. The doctor's office felt icy and lifeless. I remember locking my eyes on some poster about digestive health while she talked through treatment plans, survival statistics, all of it. And you know what crossed my mind? Not panic, not rage, just this odd quiet thought. So this is how it wraps up. But here's the part nobody prepares you for when you hear news like that. The first week, you're numb. You tell your family, you schedule appointments, you dig into research. You're operating on autopilot, survival mode. Truth is, it's the second week when it really lands. One morning I woke up, looked over at my wife sleeping beside me, and I just started crying. Not because I was afraid to die. I cried because suddenly I could see my whole life stretched out in front of me, like a road map, and every wrong turn was right there in plain sight. I spent 38 years working as an accountant. 38 years. I was good at it, made decent money, took care of my family, retired with a pension. But here's the truth I never admitted, until cancer forced me to be honest. I hated it, not every single day, but most of them. The fluorescent lights, the endless spreadsheets, the reviews, the office politics. I stayed because it was safe, because it paid the bills, because that's what responsible adults are supposed to do, right? When I was 23, I wanted to be a woodworker. I loved using my hands, making things from nothing. My grandfather taught me when I was a kid. When I was 12, we built a bookshelf together. It's still sitting in my living room. But woodworking doesn't pay much. It isn't stable. So I went into accounting because my dad said it was practical, and he wasn't wrong. It was practical, it just wasn't me. Now, I'm not telling everyone to quit their job and chase a dream. That's not realistic. Bills still show up, kids need shoes, I get it. But what I am saying is there's a difference between earning a living and actually building a life. Most of us get so wrapped up in the making a living part that we completely forget about the other half. After my diagnosis, something inside me shifted. My oncologist laid out an aggressive plan, chemo, possible surgery, the whole thing. I agreed, of course. But I also went down to my garage, cleared out 20 years of junk, and built myself a real workshop. Bought decent tools, started working with wood again for the first time in decades. My wife thought I'd lost it. David, she said, shouldn't you be resting, saving your strength? And maybe she had a point. Chemo drains you. Some days just getting out of bed feels impossible. But on the days I can work, even if it's only an hour or two, I feel more alive than I have in years. Last week, I finished a jewelry box for my granddaughter, walnut with maple inlays. It's not perfect. My hands shake more than they used to. But it's real. I made it. Cancer teaches you something nothing else can. You don't have endless time to become who you want to be. You think you do. When you're young, 40 years feels infinite. Even at 50 or 60, you tell yourself there's still plenty of time. There's always tomorrow, but sometimes tomorrow never shows up, or it arrives with an expiration date. I've been thinking a lot about regret, not the big, dramatic stuff. I didn't betray my wife or commit crimes. It's the quiet regrets that linger, the dinners I skipped because I was tired, the times my kids asked me to throw a ball and I said later, because work came first. The trips my wife wanted to take that I postponed to save money. All those small moments where I chose safe and sensible over actually living. My son came to visit last month. He's 47 now, works in insurance. We were sitting in my workshop and I was showing him how to use a chisel properly. he said something that hit me hard. "Dad, I didn't know you could do this. I wish you'd taught me when I was a kid." And the truth is, I wish I had too. But I was busy staying late at work, busy being responsible, busy preparing for a future I assumed would last forever. Here's something nobody likes to admit: we're all terminal. Every one of us. Some people just get a clearer timeline. That sounds dark, but it isn't. It's freeing. Because once you accept it, you realize every choice you make today matters, not someday. Today. The strangest part about having cancer: people treat you differently. They soften their voices. You see pity in their eyes. They say things like, "Stay strong," or "You've got this." And I appreciate it. I really do. But sometimes I want to say, you should be asking yourself these questions too. Don't wait for a diagnosis. I'm not cured. The doctors are cautiously hopeful, but nothing's guaranteed. I might have 5 years, 10, maybe 6 months. Nobody knows. What has changed is this: I don't waste time on things that don't matter anymore. I don't argue politics with my brother-in-law. I don't stress over the stock market. I don't care if my neighbor's lawn looks better than mine. Instead, I work in my shop. I have long, real conversations with my wife. I call my kids just to hear their voices, not to lecture. I teach my granddaughter how to sand wood, how to feel the grain, how to slow down and be patient. These are small things. They won't change the world, but they're changing my world, and that's the one I've got. If you're listening and thinking, "That's great for David, but I can't just quit my job and become a woodworker," you're missing the point. I'm asking you to really look at your life and ask yourself, am I actually living or just existing? There's a moment during chemo, about 2 hours in, when the drugs really hit. Your mouth tastes metallic, your body feels heavy. And in those moments, I don't think about my career or retirement accounts. I think about my wife's laugh, the smell of sawdust, my daughter asleep on my shoulder during a car ride. Those are the things that matter. Everything else is noise. Maybe you think I'm being dramatic because I'm sick. Maybe. But I don't think so. I think I'm finally being honest in a way I never allowed myself to be. For 72 years, I followed the rules. I did what was expected. I was a good employee, husband, father. But I wasn't always good to myself. I ignored the parts of me that mattered most. My grandfather once told me something I didn't understand back then. He said, "At the end of your life, nobody's going to care how clean your desk was." I thought he was just being folksy, maybe a little bitter, but he was trying to tell me how to live. If there's one thing I hope you take from this, it's this: don't wait for cancer or a heart attack or some crisis to give yourself permission to live. You don't need permission. You already have it. The question is whether you'll use it. I started chemo on a Tuesday. That Saturday, even feeling awful, I went down to my shop and started a new project. A hand-carved chess set for my son. Will I finish it? I don't know. But I'm going to try, because trying matters. Showing up for what makes you feel human, that matters. Some of you watching this hate your jobs. Some of you are in relationships that no longer fulfill you. Some of you buried your dreams 20 years ago and told yourself you'd come back to them someday. And that someday keeps getting pushed further away. Stop pushing it. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next year, today. I'm not going to tell you that following your dreams fixes everything. It doesn't. Life isn't that simple, but living with intention, even when it's hard, even when it's scary, beats sleepwalking through life every single time. My prognosis isn't great, but it isn't hopeless either. Maybe I'll beat this, maybe I won't. Either way, I'm spending whatever time I have left doing things that matter, with people I love, creating with my hands. That's more than a lot of healthy people can say. And if you're interested in this topic, I recommend 3 books that opened my eyes: When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware, and Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Read them. They'll change how you think about time and purpose. Links are in the description. On this channel, we share life advice and memories from lived experience. If this meant something to you, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. If it resonated, leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Like it, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I've still got more to say while I can. And if you've got a story you think people should hear, fill out the form in the description. The next video could be yours.